Good morning, chat. Good morning, Steak. Good to be with you. By the way, I am in my office, but for the stream, I did bring the new gold motherfucking chain.
Let's go.
Yeah. I had a meeting at or an appointment rather at like 9 a.m. But I knew I was gonna run over to the stream after, and I was like, I gotta rock the fucking chain. But I can't. I think I look ridiculous if I like meet some clients like this. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, maybe.
I look.
I don't know. You're selling condos in New York.
I'm not saying it's not cool, but I'm. What's up?
Torn.
I am. By the way, I'm in the office, and there's like the Office Pod, which I've done streams from before, that I know are soundproof. However, there's this room that has gotten cleared out. I don't know who used to be here. I don't know if somebody got fired or let go or whatever. But anyways, I'm gonna be in this room. I have the door closed, but I am like across the hall from some people at the office, including my office manager. So I'm going to try to keep my voice down as much as possible. Can you just, if I talk loudly, can you be on like DGen loud voice alert and maybe tell me to shut up? And if I say anything cancelable, let me know. You look like you're about to take my money. How we doing? Good morning, Uncle. I was just wondering what you think about LeBron over. I'm not reading the rest of that. Never thought I'd hear country on this stream. Oh, brother, we love country. Steak's getting into country. Aren't you, Steak?
I like some country. I'm from Florida. You gotta listen to a little bit of country.
Yep. W Steak in the building. Cam says a piss break before we even clock in. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm on my second cup of coffee. I just sucked down a juice from a smoothie from a place called Joe and the Juice. Not really a big fan of it, but that's all I had. Okay, Greg running point today. No, Greg is not on Wednesdays. It's Steak and I, and we dive into college football. Javon does join us. I haven't heard from him, and I forgot to mention something to him yesterday. So if he comes on, awesome. If not, we'll go all in on it. Steak, thank you very much for coming up to New York last weekend for the watch party. That was awesome. I think for the most part, you had a pretty good day. The card on Twitter went 8-2-1, if I remember.
Yeah, for sure.
And then on the newsletter plays, we were what were we?
4-2-1.
4-2-1. Yep. Felt like a fucking 5-2 incoming with UCLA there up what was it, 10-0 or something like in the second half, and then you could tell that was just crumbling. But we'll take a push. No big deal. And I got to give Steak his flowers. He absolutely nailed all the big games. I was a chicken dick. I didn't really like any of the home dogs. Steak, you liked USC, you liked Oregon, and you liked LSU. I would say, and great call, I would say in terms of teams that deserve to win those games, how would you rank them? I would
Oregon, absolutely number one.
Oregon, Penn State, LSU?
Yes, probably. You probably nailed it. LSU did not deserve to win. I'd say Ole Miss lost that game as much as LSU won it.
And even though Penn State kind of got out to a slower start, I don't recall them playing like a bad game necessarily. It was more so like they just took a little bit to get going. And also USC, kudos to them for making a big splash early. Javon, I just saw you MSU. Yeah, that one sucked. MSU minus 5.5 with a fucking safety. Dude, who gets a safety in college?
I
don't know what's going on all year. Can't even reply because I'm on a call. That hurts my feeling. What are we talking about? You're talking to Crutch. DGen gives no fucks about selling houses. Not true at all. I got to pay the bills, and it ain't with the underdog entries. But anybody who joined the stream last night, how about them, motherfuckers? Or the stream yesterday, Judge, Quan, trust your goats. W's on that one. And then the hockey one. How about it? Svechnikov point, Montour point, biggest underdog entry I've hit so far. Very happy about that. Okay, without further ado, let's get into it. I'm gonna go. Let's see. I don't have, and again, we got a hype train in here already. How do we have a hype train? Did people sub bang?
I gave out some to get the vibes going.
It's so weird. The activity feed on Twitch is not really up to date. I miss snacks. I missed yours, but appreciate it. Johnny Steckel says 17-18 college football parlay last weekend. Losing leg was Kentucky money line in the easiest spot of the year against emotionally drained Vandy. Wow. Yeah, that was tough. I had Vanderbilt team total under. It was miserable. I hated it. They're a cool team. Diego Pavia is awesome. My apologies, Steak. Ohio State is dog shit. What is he apologizing for? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember, but I didn't. No.
Okay. Reggie says, morning, DGen. Great call on Dodgers first 5. Reggie, thank you. However, it was the Yankees first 5. And it got incredibly sweaty. Steak, the Yankees are up 2-0. How do you see this series playing out?
5 games.
Yeah, I think so too. You probably don't want to get too cocky being a Yankees World Series ticket holder, but I think they're going to make light work of the Guardians. And I'm not really upset about it.
I really do genuinely believe Guardians had to win yesterday to have a chance.
Me too. And I mean, they were scrappy. They were scrappy.
They were scrappy. They loaded the bases twice with no outs, and I think they got one run out of that.
Yep. Yeah, it was brutal. Mets in 6. Yep. Chap stopped fucking glazing steak. Yeah. Why is everybody glazing steak? What did steak do?
I gave out some fucking sub bangs. I'm a nice guy. And
Yeah,
Fat Girls, you get everybody excited about our NBA preview.
bro, Fat Girls low key can be kind of a dickhead. Like if he could like rolls out the wrong side of the bed, he can come in a little angry sometimes, especially if you talk back poorly about.
He's got a little attitude for sure.
Yeah. Fat Girls has a little attitude. That's a good way to describe it. But we love Fat Girls. Okay, let me send the link over to Javon. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to share our screen today, guys. So please turn your books to pages. We'll start with page 14, chapter 1. Actually, no, we're deep in the weeds now.
Dude, sassy. That's what I was trying to say. Thank you. Fat Girls is sassy. That's what he is.
Great word to describe Fat Girls.
Oh,
he's probably right there. You're driving in his car in Chicago saying, "What? I'm not sassy." Like a sassy person's response to being called sassy.
He's going to be so sassy on the NBA preview.
Oh, God. Imagine your office manager hearing you talk about Fat Girls. All I ask is that I don't wear condoms. One says anything today. All right. Okay, let's go. DJen and Stucky, my goats. Appreciate you, Steckle. I actually have interacted with Stucky. He's a great dude. Been following him for a long time. Okay, without further ado, let's rock and roll. We should be live on YouTube. We should be live on Twitch, and we should be live on Twitter. Oh, yeah, Twitch is fucking thick right now. We got 80 of you in here. Love to see it. Steak. I guess let's talk about tonight's games, right?
Yeah.
College football. Okay. We've got, let's see, Wednesday, we've got 2 games. We've got Sam Houston State, who has been awesome this year. 5-1 ATS, 3-3 to the over. And it looks like Western Kentucky's right there with the ATS number. 5-1 ATS. Sam Houston State -2.5 at home. Is that a trap?
It feels kind of like the peak for Sam Houston State, right?
Yeah.
People really like Sam Houston State. I feel like people have been riding them, and they were kind of like the joke last year, you know, like they were sharp every spot because they were horrible, and people like me still backed them sometimes just to be idiots. I literally remember doing that once on vacation, and I want to say they lost like 37-0 or something like that. But this year, they're literally the darlings. They've covered every game except one, and I don't know that it gets any better. I would certainly lean Western Kentucky. I don't know if I'm going to make it there, but I would lean Western Kentucky in this game. And I think Western Kentucky's decent.
Yeah, so we got there with Western Kentucky. What was it? Steak against Toledo a couple weeks ago. On the road in BC, they had a tough loss. BC's quarterback was out. Then at home against UTEP. UTEP is terrible. They covered an 18.5 number. You know what though? You got. I have to do it. You got Sam Houston State off a bye. I like to fade teams off a bye.
So you want to take Western Kentucky? I think the only time Western Kentucky didn't cover was against Alabama, right?
That's a great question. Yes, 63-0. That is the only time they did not cover. I also, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get cute. I did it last night. Did you play Middle Tennessee State or no?
No, but I played Troy, so it's just as bad.
Did Troy cover?
No.
Oh, sorry. I genuinely didn't know. So I lost that first half bet, but you know what? I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do Western Kentucky tonight, fading Sam Houston State coming off the bye week. Good morning, gents. What's up, Andre Harden? Andre, I appreciate you, by the way. You're always liking and retweeting the stream tweet. I thank you very much. The engagement interactions on social media is great for us to help us grow the brand and whatnot. So you guys are awesome. And Snidesy, as always, appreciate the graphic. I swear to God, any first half under in a weekday game is fucking auto cake. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Give me Sam Houston wins tonight. Maybe ATS last 5. Right. Yeah. Okay. We overheard you talking about fat girls being dickheads earlier. I probably shouldn't say that. Okay. I can't reference fat girls anymore. I'm going to just call it FG. All right. Actually, we'll call them sassy pants. FIU and UTEP. FIU on the road laying 7. That seems like a lot.
This is as bad as Middle Tennessee State, Kennesaw State, I feel like.
So FIU is actually not pathetic. In all their games this year, well, they started the year losing to Indiana, which is not a bad loss. They covered a 26-point spread. but they just won. Or no, I'm sorry, they went to overtime at Liberty as a 16-point dog. You got to respect that.
Yeah.
They beat Louisiana Tech, who's not bad. Let's see, and then UTEP. Yeah, UTEP is terrible. They're 0-6. They are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1-5 ATS. But you know what, Steak? This is interesting from an underdog's perspective. This is the shortest line they've been all season. 9, 10, 18 and a half, 24, 27 and a half.
But isn't FIU 1-5, right?
1-5 overall?
Yeah.
No, they're 2-4.
2-4, okay.
But they've also had some really close games. Like they lost well, losing to Monmouth is terrible.
Yeah, I'm definitely not playing this game.
Okay, let's keep moving.
I think I like Western Kentucky, and I don't think I'm going to get cute in the first half. I think I'm just going to take Western Kentucky.
Okay.
Game.
Sisterhood of Sassy. We love that. Okay, fair enough. Let's keep rolling. Aliens are real, no cap with a new follow. Crutch Bet with a sub bank. Appreciate you, Crutch. We got a nice little hype train nice and early. We love that. What's up, YouTube gang? All right, let's keep moving. Let's go to Thursday. Georgia State and Marshall, and we've got Boston College and Virginia Tech. You got any thoughts on these games, Steak? We got Marshall laying 9 at home against Georgia State and Virginia Tech laying 7 at Boston College.
I think Virginia Tech Boston College is worth talking about. I've been looking at it for a while. I haven't figured it out yet. I think I've been pretty bad at capping Virginia Tech this year. As a matter of fact, I think the only times I've taken them, they've not covered the spread, and the only times I bet against them, they did, including last week. What did last week? I think you were right, or was the Stanford game last week?
2 weeks ago. Both teams have had a bye.
Okay, both are coming off a bye. What's the over/under?
The over/under in this game is 49. Seems kind of high.
Yeah. I was going to say both teams coming off a bye to go under, but that sounds too high. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what to make of BC either. I feel like they've really fallen off after a really good start, and obviously the quarterback injury sucked, but I don't know. This game's tough. Is it still Virginia Tech -7?
Yeah, well, according to covers, I don't know what action is. I'm just trying to limit the tabs that I have up right now. I would love to know what the injury situation is. What's up, guys? What's up, J-Stir? What's good? How about those Canes? Yep, great night on the ice last night. What's up, Alex? How are you, W's? So my whole reason for betting on Virginia Tech against Stanford, I didn't bet it, but my read on that was that I felt like they were going to be better on the road than they are at home. Now coming off of a bye, Boston College coming off of a bye. Does anybody know the injury situation? I think there may be something that total.
I believe he's playing if you're talking about Castellanos.
Yeah. So I think here's the thing. For a Virginia Tech game, 49 is not that high. They've seen 49.5, 55.5, 54.5, whatever. But for Boston College, Steak, well, they actually see these totals too. But the thing is, they've just gone under 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 6 games. They've gone under 5 out of 6 games. Yeah, I don't know. Is it weird that I just kind of lean BC?
No, it's not weird. Like I said, you've actually had a better read on Virginia Tech than me. I don't think I can play it. I'm literally always wrong on Virginia Tech. I think Virginia Tech is absolutely capable of. You get both teams' best games. I think Virginia Tech wins by 3 touchdowns. But the problem with Virginia Tech is you rarely ever get their best game, I feel.
Off topic, Steak, what did you get Troy at last night?
So my offshore doesn't let you bet a certain amount if there's a blue C next to the game due to an injury. So I liked it at +11, but I couldn't lock it in until it got to +9. Not that it mattered, but yeah, I got him +9.
Love Marshall, Georgia State under. Alan, what's your read on that one? I kind of like BC end points, so maybe team total. Don't hate that one bit. Okay, yeah, nothing really too nice here on the weekday slate. Now we've got some Friday games. Looks like we've got 4 Friday games. Our favorite team we like to talk about, not bet on, FSU at Duke. Duke -3.5. Any thoughts on this?
So I think a lot of people like contrarians are thinking that FSU is contrarian, but Duke really hasn't gotten any line respect all year, and they weren't really expected to be any good. And I am usually the guy advising you not to bet on Florida State, and I would not bet Florida State again. I don't think you should take them as a 3.5-point underdog at Duke. I think they're fucking horrible. They've given up on the season, and the line's not weird to me at all because Duke ended up being underdogs to UNC. They're not getting respect in any game.
Yep. Javon, good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for joining as always. We're just talking about Duke and FSU Friday night. Steak was saying how Duke doesn't really seem to be getting any line respect. I'm looking at Duke's schedule right now. They had a bye and they lost and did not cover against Georgia Tech. And then on the flip side, FSU had a bye after the Clemson game. I mean, how square is Duke? Because that's where I would go.
Yeah,
Javon, do you
I think
agree?
that's probably where I'm headed to. This is also like not that he's had a million starts, but like Brock Glenn's 2 starts have been at home. Granted, it was against Clemson, and then like in the ACC championship game. So first time he's on the road. Not gonna act like Duke is a fortress, but I'm down for a little Duke.
Okay. Yeah, Duke minus 3.5. They're giving you the hook with FSU, and like Steak was saying, I mean, FSU was always kind of like the cute contrarian play. Total here is 42.5. Doesn't seem like anything suspicious there. So, okay. All right, good shit. And then let's see. Here's a game that we've been talking about really all offseason. Oregon at West Lafayette. Weird place to play, especially after a game like Ohio State was just in town. They win that game. My only concern is this. Is it the most obvious letdown spot? Even more so now that Purdue just took Illinois into overtime. Steak, what do you think?
It might be obvious, but I also think it might be the right play.
Oregon, I'm sorry, Purdue with the points.
Yeah, and I don't know that like your average Joe is getting excited to bet Purdue, and I don't know if your average Joe is excited that they took Illinois to overtime either.
But who wants to bet Oregon minus 28? Like, who is actually putting money on that?
I mean, people who saw them kind of click on all cylinders finally on offense against Ohio State.
Yeah.
Ron, you agree?
Yeah, I will say too, we did do our college football taping, and I think I said this to you about Florida, Tennessee last week, but I was the only one who had any sort of inkling toward Purdue. So I think you'll maybe not be alone with Oregon as much as you would think. So maybe it's obvious. I don't know. I hate betting on quarterbacks that have a great first game, whether they come into the game or they start at the next game, but I'm gonna have to do it.
Guys, I don't think anybody is putting money on Oregon minus 28.
I think way more people are putting money on Oregon after what they just watched against Ohio State than are betting on Purdue, who's been absolutely horrible this year with the exception of last week, and no one respects Illinois that much to even care.
If you ask 10 people, do you want to bet on Oregon, do you want to bet on Purdue, or do you want to stay away from this? I say it's 6 stay away, 3 Purdue, 1 Oregon.
No. You're insane if you think 1 out of 10 people would tell you they want to bet on Oregon in this game. I definitely don't agree.
Minus 28.
Dude, I don't agree at all.
I don't know how many people want to take 28-point road favorites. Just my opinion. 60.5 is the total. I think maybe if anything, I would take the under in this game. If Purdue covers, are they going to score points?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And also Oregon might just smoke them.
Yeah. Hard to put money on Purdue after that Notre Dame performance. Yeah, sure is. Good morning, fellas. What's up, Lancer? DGen, my stupid friend who takes minus 30 favorites and loses, said Oregon is his lock of the week. Well, okay, maybe I'm way wrong. Square mongers in chat. Purdue is Garby. Nobody is taking Purdue. Okay. There's people that will be parlaying Oregon. Jesus Christ. RIP to those people. I don't even know what is adding Oregon minus 30 in a money line.
Prime is people.
Yeah, he's speaking from experience. He just punched that
in. Okay, let's go to the next 2 games on Friday night. Big one here. Big one. Oklahoma State, BYU at home, 9.5-point favorites, total 52.5. Oklahoma State, one of my largest future wagers on the season, under 8.5 wins. I think this is to cash it. They're 3-3 right now. Got to lose this game. Can I be honest? I love BYU. I respect BYU. I stayed off fading BYU in that Baylor spot, even though it was so tempting. I am nervous. I am very nervous. I just think BYU might be due for a little bit of a letdown game, a little bit of a stinker. They have won and covered in all 6 games this year. Everybody was just fading BYU last week because of the fasting, the BYU Jew quarterback who wasn't eating anything. Zetloff is a fucking dog. The defense is awesome. The coach is great. I love everything about this team. I'm terrified. I'm terrified Oklahoma State is going to pull off an upset. Javon, we'll start with you and then switch it up. Please tell me I'm wrong.
I don't think so. And I've been very, very vocal. Don't fade BYU because I hate doing that. But if I were to do it at any point probably this season, it probably would be now when everybody hops off the train because it was, I don't know, fading BYU has been sharp every single week of the season until I would say right now. It's just weird because they're finally getting line respect at home against the Oklahoma State team that I think is dead, but a lot of people also are starting to get to the point where they think they're dead. So now on the road, I think they go and they show some life. So I do think it is Oklahoma State. I don't know if they win, but probably one of those weird one-possession games.
Fuck.
I don't agree.
Damn.
I don't agree. No, I actually, this is the game of the week. We got to it early where if I would have told you this line at the beginning of the season, you guys would have said I was on meth. BYU minus 9.5. Is this the first time this year that they've gotten complete line respect for how they've been playing?
It's a very good question. Let's take a look.
I'd say so.
They were
-4 against Arizona. Is that what it was? -3.
Open 5, close 2.5.
I think this is a very respectable line, and I actually like BYU. I think they roll.
Well, if I align with you, I mean, I'm obviously not betting this game because I am invested and I'm just going to hope Oklahoma State uses. But if I am aligned with you, I'd have to imagine that Oklahoma State, nobody wants to go into a bye week off of 3 straight losses and in which the fashion that they lost. 24 points they lost at home to West Virginia, 22 points to Kansas State, and then they made it close with Utah, but they still got their dick kicked in for most of that game. I'd have to say that Oklahoma State is just dead, and everybody's checked out. Nobody wants to play football. Ollie Gordon is already thinking about the NFL. Alan Bowman is thinking about selling insurance. So I'm going to stay away from this game.
Ollie Gordon is playing. I would assume he's not. I mean,
he might not be playing.
I mean, he got hurt. It looked really bad before the bye week, so I would assume he's not playing. And they already had a slew of injuries and transfers. I mean, they've done this same song and dance for a while, just like UCF last week. So I'm probably not putting money on them, but if I had to, they're the play.
Yep.
My only question would be, how much bigger of a favorite do you guys think you could make BYU in this game?
10.5.
That's not much bigger.
I don't know. It's hard to value them if they're without, I mean, their only source of offense.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Jake, key number.
Is that official, Javon?
Not official, but
Okay.
I can tell you half the other team that transferred and is hurt is very official. So we'll see what Ollie Gordon is, but I mean, could probably guess.
Okay, let's keep moving. And again, Javon, thank you as always for joining us here. We talk college football. If you guys want to subscribe to our newsletter, plays will be out Friday morning in your inbox. Having a great college football season. Steak, do you happen to know our record? What are we, 27-14-1? Does that sound right?
Sounds right.
Yep. We won't talk about the NFL record. It's not good. That's all you need to know.
Not today. Not today.
Okay, Fresno and Nevada last game. Fresno minus 2.5. Steak, we faded we bet on Fresno State.
Yeah.
It was tight. It was close. They didn't come through. Wazoo, kudos to them. They covered the 3.5 point spread on the road. Now Fresno State on the road against Nevada. Nevada's 5-2 ATS. Total is 50.5. You got any thoughts on this game?
I think I'm going to go back to the team that burned me and try to roll with Fresno State one more time. Yeah, I think Nevada's kind of become a gambler's darling, you know. They're covering lots of spreads. They weren't expected to be good. They're very competitive. And I'm going to go back to the spot that burned me and probably take Fresno here.
Javon, any thoughts?
Yeah, I don't hate that. I hate dealing with Fresno because they're, pretty far from a gambler's dream unless you're fading them. But they always get a lot of line respect. I wouldn't say they're getting it right now, which is a little odd to me. But I don't know, probably lean Nevada, not getting involved.
Okay, fair enough. I would agree with you. If my money goes anywhere in that game, it's Nevada. Just a quick nugget on that BYU game. I don't hate this. BYU has 2 road games after this week. They need this W. Yep, good point. And Crutch says he loves Fresno the more that I look at it. All right, Crutch, if you do, please elaborate on any reasons or thoughts on that game. I might just stay off. Okay, we've made it to Saturday. We've got, let's see, at noon, we've got our beloved Clemson Tigers. And again, I say that because we're all invested on Clemson, feeling pretty good about it. Slow start at Wake Forest. Didn't know what to do in that game. Thought about going with Wake Forest actually there. Glad I didn't. I think Clemson woke up. Offense stayed looking good. They're at home, 21-point favorites against Virginia. Virginia is not terrible this year. 4-1-1 ATS. They are off a pretty tough loss at home against Louisville, which would have been great for me, a Louisville under win better. Louisville came back and won that game. You have to think, if you put your coin on anything here, it's probably just Clemson stays rolling because they have to stay rolling. And do you see the respect even in the odds market for Clemson? Cade Klubnik is now up there in some sort of Heisman discussion. I think he's like 5th or 6th on the odds board. And Clemson is up there to win the national championship, 5th or 6th on the odds board. So I think Clemson is going to be turning it on all season, the rest of the season. Any thoughts on this game, 57.5? Could it be a skull fuck for Clemson? Steak?
It could be. It could be. I'm not going to play it. I do really like Clemson, so I like what I'm seeing. I would probably, if you wanted to like dabble, I think I'd dabble on them to win the national championship or make it to the national championship before I'd go Cade Klubnik Heisman. Obviously, I had Cade Klubnik Heisman last year, so I don't think I need to lose any more money on betting on him to win the Heisman. But I am happy to see that I'm not a complete idiot, and what I thought I saw from him wasn't like I wasn't so far off as I thought I was last year. But yeah, I can't back him. I liked Wake Forest like you did last week. I didn't bet him, so I saved my unit there. But I hope Clemson keeps rolling.
Javon, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, same headspace. I want them to keep rolling. I know UVA covered. They didn't win outright, even though they probably should have. But
True.
I'm so out on fading that team because they are random. They have random like devil magic in every single game they play. So I have to be really in love with playing a fat spread with Clemson to do it. I'm not going to do it against UVA.
Okay. I want to say this, though. Clemson does have a bye next before Louisville. I think Clemson could turn on the Jets one more game, put on a show before they shut it down and get into that bye week. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But I don't need to force it. Fanatics BG, new follower. What's up? Do you only use offshore sites? No. Steak is in New York. He uses Hard Rock, and then he's in Florida. I'm in New York. I use Fanatics. But my go-tos are probably FanDuel and DraftKings at this point. BetMGM interface is terrible, but I don't mind their lines sometimes. Sometimes they've got pretty good juice.
I will say about that Clemson game, this is really only like the second time all year they've faced a mobile quarterback at all, which I think is pretty interesting. And the only time they faced one was Stanford, and they're playing from down 1 million. He still had like 90 rushing yards, but couldn't really get into the game script. So I'm interested because Calandria, if they get out to like an early lead, I feel like he might be a little bit of a problem.
Okay, that's a pretty interesting take. All right, talk to me about Miami and Louisville. A couple of good matchups here on the early slate. We'll get to Nebraska and Indiana in a second. Miami is looking like they're -5 now. Total is 61. As we mentioned, Louisville was in a bit of a look-ahead spot. Shame on us for not taking advantage on the road at Virginia. Miami pull off the fucking, great comeback against Cal, which was very sad. Then I think they had a bye week. Now they're coming out in Louisville. This is going to be a huge game. I need Louisville to go down. But I got to tell you, I do respect Louisville. After watching them twice this season, Tyler Shue, the offense, I love Jeff Brom, always have. I actually think I had Louisville over wins last year. I am going to stay out this game, and I'm just going to hope Miami wins. But I am a little bit nervous for the Hurricanes. Steak, any thoughts?
I think I like Louisville on the points. I think they keep it close.
I hope you're wrong. Again, I need them under 8.5 wins, and I'm not feeling great about it at all. I would cash out if I could. Yvonne, you like Louisville in this game?
Yeah, kind of do, to be honest with you. Thing is, like, I don't understand Miami, like, what they do on defense half the time because they played, like, goal line defense. They did that against, like, Virginia Tech for a little bit. They did it against Cal, and they just threw over the top of them every time. Like, if you do that against Louisville, you're fucked. And they actually have healthy running backs. So if they do drop back and play normal defense, they're going to get gashed too.
Fuck. Yeah, and Lancer said Mario Cristobal hasn't won a single game after a bye week while at Miami.
That's incredible.
That is incredible. Yeah. All right. Well, you two lean Louisville there. I can't press any buttons. Not even on a total. I'm going to just stay off that. Wisconsin and Northwestern. Wisconsin finally getting some fucking life, looking competent on offense. I mean, they put Rutgers in a locker. I was terrified that Rutgers was going to get back in that game. Steak, you didn't waver all day Saturday. Thank you. I needed you to be that rock because we have been betting Wisconsin quite a bit this year, and they've come through for us 2 weeks in a row. On the road in Northwestern, 7-point favorites. Total is another low 41. I'd have to imagine Wisconsin.
I just want to be clear, Javon, so you can understand when he says I didn't waver. They were up 21-0, and this guy was freaking out when Rutgers would complete a 7-yard pass. Like, oh, fuck, man, here comes Rutgers. 21-0 Wisconsin. And I was like, bro, you got to relax.
Dude, I mean, you're preaching to the choir. I have to deal with Trent bitching 2 plays into a game. If he sees a completed pass at 0-0 first play of the game against the team he bet on, he chalks it.
Just want to say this. It is Wisconsin good enough to make you feel confident with a lead on the road?
I think I'm confident in anyone going up 21-0 on Rutgers. I don't think Rutgers will have any 21-0 comebacks this year.
You've just respected Rutgers like 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, but not because I thought they would have 21-0 comebacks, because I thought they'd win fucking ugly games.
Okay, that makes more sense. Wisconsin on the road -7 at Northwestern, and Northwestern, didn't they just win outright against Maryland?
Beat the shit out of them. It's double-digit dogs.
Yep, we had Northwestern. That was nice. Northwestern was great. Utah sucked. I think that was last Friday. And again, total at 41. I have to say that after Northwestern just scored 37 and Wisconsin's offense has been looking pretty good, I got to tell you, I think this 41 looks pretty light. 52 against Purdue, 42 at Rutgers. That's Wisconsin's offense. And you know what this is, fellas? This is Wisconsin's game before they host Penn State. Look ahead, look ahead, look ahead. I like the under. Steak, any thoughts?
I like the under too. Don't think I can get anywhere on a side.
Yep. Javon?
Probably just go Wisconsin.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I took Northwestern and I've watched them a couple weeks now with their new quarterback, Lausch.
Mm-hmm.
Problem with the under for me is like he only throws bombs. Like that's their entire offense. If they're not running the ball, he's throwing 50-yard bombs. So I feel like he can get himself in trouble, and then a couple bombs will take this one over when it really has no business going over. It's kind of the vibes I get.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fuck. Yeah, I don't like that. DJ in the office today. Yes, if you are joining in, I am in the office today. No shared screen. I apologize. And the voice has to be kept down a little bit. But thank you for hanging out, riding through. We try to make it happen as often as we can. All right, Nebraska and Indiana. Indiana 6.5, total 50.5. Steak, thank you again for the Indiana over 5.5 win total that cashed 6 weeks into the season. Very happy about that. Can't wait to collect those 2 units. What do we do here, though? I'm a little bit nervous. Not that I'm nervous in the sense that a bet is jeopardized, but now I've got like this love for Indiana. We had the Indiana super fan on here. I thought he was great. Talked about Curt Cignetti. I love Curt Cignetti. I think they're coming off a bye week. This place is going to be fucking rocking. If I could go to a game this weekend, you think I'm going to one of these top games? No, I want to be in fucking, where is it? Bloomingfield?
Bloomington?
Bloomingdale's, Indiana. Total 50.5. Nebraska on the road getting 6.5. Are people going to lay that kind of number with Indiana? I don't necessarily think so. Steak, do you like the Hoosiers?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah, I love the Hoosiers and I love points. I think it's going to be a fucking awesome game. And I don't think mini Pat Mahomes can keep up with the Indiana offense. Curtis Rourke, dude, they're fucking going to the playoff. Get ready.
I think Indiana to make the playoff is like plus 180, you told me?
Yeah.
Why don't you take it?
It's happening. I will right after the stream.
Okay. Do it, pussy. Probably shouldn't say that in the office. Javon, any thoughts on Nebraska and Indiana?
I want to take Indiana's team total under.
Oh,
God damn it.
It doesn't really have to like coincide with them not covering or losing the game, but this is like, I mean, they've played a ridiculous slate of defenses. I think we all know that. I mean, the best defense they've played is, I think, UCLA or Northwestern, I guess you can argue. So I feel like Nebraska is pretty by far the best defense they're going to play. So I feel like also on offense with Raiola, this is like his first big road game test because the only other road game they've played is Purdue. So I feel like there's going to be a solid amount of ball control. So like their team total is at 28.5, obviously a number that they've slaughtered all season. I mean, they've had 40 plus points in the last 4 weeks. So
did you say 28.5?
Yeah.
Did anyone score that on Nebraska this year?
Oh, on Nebraska?
Yeah.
I mean,
Illinois.
Yeah, Illinois, I guess.
Illinois scored
They scored
31.
Illinois 31. But I mean, they've also played,
Yeah.
I mean, a pretty horrendous slate of offenses too.
Steak, keep in mind, what can you make Indiana's team total when they've scored 41, 42, 52, 42, 77?
Against Nebraska, I almost would argue that it's very close to the right line.
Okay. Well, what does it say? Curtis Rourke, Oakville Mans, Raiola off the worst game of season. I just realized both teams are coming off a bye week. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fade both of them. I'm going to take the under. This is you don't like it?
Not at all.
But you just said you don't think Raiola is going to have a great game.
I didn't say that. I said that I do think he's going to have a good game, actually. I'm not on the same page as you guys in this one, which I guess is fair, but I actually like points and Indiana.
What did you say? You said something about Raiola that you weren't.
I said I don't think he can keep up with fucking the GOAT, Curtis Rourke, but who can?
Fair.
Not Troy, or Middle
not
Tennessee
Troy.
State. All right. Okay. So we kind of butt heads here, which is always fun. I like the full game under. Devon likes Indiana team total under. Steak says it's Indiana. I do think Indiana's going to cover. If I got to give you a side, so I'll go with that. Sounds like we're kind of in agreement there. Brinks mentioned Nebraska at Ohio State. Decent look ahead. You know why I don't think it's a look ahead, Brinks? I know you're an Ohio State fan, and that's a very big opponent. Indiana is fucking awesome this year. You got to get up for this game. I don't think Indiana.
I feel like this is the biggest game Indiana's had in God knows how long.
Yeah, place can be
It
rocked.
could be a look ahead though, dude, because Nebraska thinks they're more elite than they are.
Oh, that's what you said at the end. I guess I should have read the end. I don't know if I consider look ahead since IU is good. Oh, sorry. So yeah, sometimes I only read the first sentence and then I just take it and run. Okay, we'll keep moving. ECU and Army. Army is, I believe they're 6-0, and I believe they're 6-0 ATS. Unbelievable. Great story. Army.
I'm getting the feeling that Poppy Jacks is a Nebraska fan.
It's not a look ahead with a bye week and Matt Rule as a coach. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I kind of do too. What makes you say that?
It's just it's getting to be a lot. Starting, I kind of feel like it's the prime of Nebraska.
That's good. Go ahead. Oh,
you were going.
I thought Javon was going to say something.
No.
Army 15.5, total 51.5. I mean, I think that total looks low. I don't know anything about ECU other than they're 3-3 ATS. Anybody got a thought in Army, ECU?
Don't fade Army. That's my only advice. Do not fucking fade Army.
If you fast forward, can't you see Army being 12-0 ATS when the season's over? I guess I probably could. Auburn and Missouri, weird game here. Missouri minus 4.5 at home against Auburn. That seems a little light to me. Missouri got right in Massachusetts, total 51. Steak, you're shaking your head. You don't think so?
I don't think it's that light because you don't count Massachusetts as a get-right game, and the game that everybody watched before that, they got their shit pushed in by Texas A&M. It's a little short. I just don't think maybe it's as short as people are thinking because I don't know if anybody likes Missouri that much anymore.
I guess I see what you're saying. Javon, do you think that this line is accurate? Missouri laying 4.5?
Still feels a little weird to me. And I mean, I don't think anybody's really on the Mizzou train anymore. And yeah, like nobody gives a shit about a get right game at UMass. It's fucking UMass. But I don't think anybody gives a shit about Auburn either, which is what's kind of keeping me around, especially after, I mean, they sold everybody's coins eventually when everybody hopped on Auburn in that game against Oklahoma. And Michael Hawkins was playing, and that was the worst performance I think I've ever seen by an offense. And Peyton Thorne was terrible. Everybody was terrible. But this feels like an awfully weird game, I would say. Have to lean Auburn.
I also lean Auburn. I just buyer beware is all I'm saying, but I definitely lean Auburn.
Yeah.
All right, Javon, you've talked about you put this game on my radar. I think is that as soon as the clock struck midnight on Saturday or Sunday, Cincinnati at home.
See this line?
Yeah.
What's that now?
Steak, are you on the Cincinnati overwin train?
No, I'm not, but I've been tailing every game Javon said to except UCF because I'm an idiot.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I'm just addicted to UCF. I'm an idiot.
Yep, that's okay. Which, remember, I tried to tell you UCF was a trendy team in the offseason. I heard KJ Jefferson Heisman at least 15 times. Arizona State on the road against Cincinnati. Arizona State coming off that big win against Utah. Cincinnati's obviously coming off a big win. But Cincinnati opened 3, I think, Javon. Now it's 4.5, total at 51. Javon, you've been the Bearcat Whisperer. Things are looking good for the 5.5 win total. Knock on wood. I want to jinx it. Long way to go. What's your takeaway in this game?
Yeah, I mean, I already placed Cincy ML when it was like minus 130. That's a funny comment, but I was in no world expecting to see. I'm seeing 5.5 now, which is
that's what I see.
Yeah, so I mean, I didn't have it. It's not like Cal where I had like a specific game that I was like going to have like game of the year for Cincy, but it was going to be one of these weird home spots. I thought maybe more so it was going to be like TCU at the end of the season, which they're still going to win by 1 million, but TCU sucks, so it won't be as weird. This is the weird home game, I think, to circle. And the fact that they're minus 5.5 after you had Arizona State upset Utah, storm the field. You got your coach mosh pitting with students last week in front of everybody because it was Friday night, nationally televised. Yeah, some ugly things are about to happen for what it's worth, too. I think this is only the second time Arizona State's played during the day at all this year. They're a big nighttime team, and the other game they played during the day was not a noon kickoff game, which was like 10 a.m. their time. It was 3:30, and it was Texas Tech, which they lost at a very similar spot and situation. So get up early for some ass whooping in Cincy.
I love that time of the game look. Didn't even think about it. I do think that shit matters. I mean, look at, the travel aspect of which of reasons we just fade Washington, but Pac-12 teams and playing noon slots, shit they're not used to. Steak, you good on that?
I'm absolutely good on it.
Okay, awesome. Are you worried about Cincy's run defense?
No.
Okay, good answer. No. UConn -1 against Wake Forest at home. Wake is 1-4-1 ATS, total 57.5. Anybody have a thought on this game? If not, we can keep moving.
You could keep moving. Wake Forest is horrible. UConn's horrible. I'm surprised. Wake Forest has gotten so bad that I guess they're pick 'em basically with UConn, who's was I thought considered to be one of the worst going into the year, but I wouldn't bet this game.
Okay. This is an interesting one. And I hate that in my body I'm feeling this way because after what I watched on Saturday, it was one of the most miserable experiences I've had watching a team. Oklahoma at home, -2.5 against South Carolina. I think I love Oklahoma. I think. But at the same time, I hated everything about what I saw in Oklahoma against Texas. That quarterback is terrible. I don't even know how he got recruited. He's just not a quarterback. Yeah, but I'm gonna give him a little time. Again, it reminds me of Jordan Travis year 1. Year 3 ended up doing pretty well. Not that I really trust Brett Venables to develop a quarterback like that. But the total at 40.5, after South Carolina just gave it their fucking all against Alabama, this just feels like an Oklahoma defense smash spot. So I don't know. I might have to do something here. South Carolina team total under, maybe just Oklahoma on the money line. Steak, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, my contrarian brain says you have to back Oklahoma being favored after getting smashed by Texas when South Carolina absolutely could have beat Alabama. So South Carolina's pretty much had one bad showing and like 4 or 5 good showings if you take out Old Dominion season opener. And South Carolina looks a lot better right now than Oklahoma does. But with that being said, I'm really anti-Oklahoma. I was anti-Oklahoma to begin the year. I even think I made a tweet about thinking it was possible that Venables could get fired a lot quicker than people think. And if he loses this game, I really do think the seat gets hot quicker than people believe because I don't think fucking Brent Venables is a good fit for the University of Oklahoma. I don't know how anyone thought the defensive coordinator from Clemson was going to be. I understand Oklahoma's problem has always been they're horrible defensively and they always have Heisman winning superstars on offense, but I don't know. Brent Venables and Oklahoma don't go together for me. So I'm reluctant, but I really do lean Oklahoma in this game, but strictly contrarian.
Okay. Javon?
Yeah, I lean Oklahoma. I don't even know if it's too contrarian, but I mean, it's the third leg of a little gauntlet. Not going to act like Oklahoma's on the same par as these teams, but defensively, I guess you could say they are. Maybe they're better, but Ole Miss at home, they scored 3 points. Big physical defense that I think is really good. Bama, which who knows what their defense is at one point, and then that was on the road, and now they're going on the road again to Oklahoma. Feels like might be where the tread of the tires kind of wears down for South Carolina, in my opinion.
I'm gonna have to do something there. I'm gonna think about it. Prime says homecoming Mega Max. Oh, it's Oklahoma's homecoming too. Jeez, they're gonna hire. Oh my God, I don't think Lincoln Riley is going going from
Hell.
USC head coach to an offensive coordinator.
I don't even know if he'd go back to coach.
No, he's not. They'd hire me before Lincoln Riley goes back there.
Yeah. Xander, sub up, little bro. All right, let's keep moving. We've got Tulsa at Temple. I don't really have anything on this game. Temple is -2.5 against Tulsa. If you guys have any thoughts, feel free.
These are the worst fucking teams. So bad.
Awful.
Okay. Central Michigan and Eastern Michigan. For whatever reason, I always find myself betting on this game, like year after year. I always have money on a Central Michigan, Eastern Michigan game, and I always regret it. Eastern Michigan at home, they're 5-1 ATS, -2.5 against Central Michigan. I fucking hate Central Michigan. Central Michigan fucked us on my best bet against Illinois. Some shady shit, weird shit going on. They did just cover a 3-point spread at home against Ohio. I want nothing to do with this game. Do you guys like anything? No? Okay.
Jim McElwain is a loser.
Yep, he's a big fucking loser. Tulane against Rice, 21.5. Big number. You're getting the hook with Rice here, but they're only 2-4 ATS, total 53. Seems like it might be a little low. Rice is what?
Rice sucks.
Yeah, Rice sucks. They did just beat UTSA 29-27. That game went over 51. And then Tulane, as you may or may not know, is just a juggernaut offensively.
Knocking people, yeah.
Listen to these last three games, and they are coming off a bye week. I'm going to have to get in on this under. But I did play the UAB Tulane under, and there were 91 points in that game. That was not my best work. 41 points, 45 points, 71 points. They are getting over this number almost themselves. Last game, you saw 51.5 total, and there was 91 points. Now we're seeing that almost that same number. Not really. I know it's a 1.5 off. 53 seems really low to me.
It does seem really low. I agree with you.
So I don't know. Again, I like fading these teams off a bye. If anything, Tulane was just getting into a rhythm. Now it kind of gets halted. I can maybe go for like a first half under or maybe a full game under, something like that. If you guys have anything on that, feel free, but it doesn't really seem like anyone does.
I'm going to take Rice.
You're going to take Rice?
Yeah. I do think, you said it perfectly. Tulane was fucking rolling before the bye week. And not only do they have a little momentum stopper before this Rice game, but next week they go to North Texas, which is probably the second biggest American Conference play game on their schedule, other than going to Navy at like the very end of the season in Memphis, that little two-pod. But that's a massive game for conference championship purposes next week.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm into that. Yep, if I like the under, I like the dog. Clay Mucker said Cincinnati just moved to 6, -240 in front of my eyes.
Christ.
Syndicate. We're Syndicate. There's whales watching. You ever been to Nova Scotia? Whale watching. The degenerate stream.
There's whales watching.
Okay, Notre Dame and Georgia Tech 3:30 game. I mean, listen, I am not one of those fans, but I am also somebody who thinks there's a wave forming. I've never surfed. I don't know how to surf, but in sports betting, you want to ride the wave, right? I think riding the wave of Riley Leonard in this Notre Dame offense was the perfect time to buy in. After that bye week, they whooped Stanford's ass. They scored some points. Now, they're going on the road. They're playing Georgia Tech. It looks like they're 11.5-point favorites. That's a big spread. I can't get there with Notre Dame at that number. The total at 49. Notre Dame now has 5 starting defenders out. Javon, your guy you've told me about for the last fucking 2 years, Ben Morrison, one of the best corners in the country, out. The week before, one of the best defensive linemen at the ends, out. This is not good for the Notre Dame defense. I think we could potentially see some scoring. I think Notre Dame plays better on the road than they do at home. So I kind of like this over 49. Javon, we'll start with you. Any thoughts in Georgia Tech, Notre Dame?
I don't hate the over. I guess just situationally, like Notre Dame, I feel like when they get these mid-tier opponents as of late, like on the road where you expect the game to be somewhat competitive and you have hope, that's when they put out their best performances. It's certainly not against the fucking NIUs of the world in South Bend. So I would lean that way automatically. I will have to say, though, I looked back to find Riley Leonard's one game against Georgia Tech that he played while he was at Duke. He was 20 for 41 with 136 yards in that game. So,
Yeah.
I mean, granted, 2 years ago, but it's the only time he's been able to see him. I feel like there may be something there that would concern me a little bit. Plus, I guess somebody just alluded to it, the potential look ahead spot. I don't know how much you can look ahead if you're Notre Dame, but that's turned into a fucking massive game now.
This is just a look ahead to Navy is just a hilarious thing to say, but
It is,
yeah.
but it's somehow become a reality, which is wild.
Steak, any thoughts on the Irish?
No, I did you watch Georgia Tech at all last week? They had a
Mm.
complete meltdown against North Carolina. They won the game, but they
Oh yeah, they were on the TV.
yeah, they fucking melted down. I kind of had like this feeling that the party was sort of over for Georgia Tech and that they were going to start falling off a little bit. I don't like Georgia Tech at all. I can say that confidently. I think I agree with you guys about the over, but I don't know. I don't think I'm going to press buttons on this game.
Okay, I think that's fair. We'll keep moving. FAU, UTSA. I don't know if anybody has any thoughts on that. If not, we can pass over it. Here's a good one. Michigan on the road at Illinois. Illinois has been a surprising team this year. Michigan is a 3-point favorite. Hand up. I liked Michigan on the road against Washington. That did not turn out so well. I went against Steak on that one. So I'm going to keep my Michigan thoughts to myself. And I'm not going to put any money on this team. I am very happy to see that they're not good. I don't like Sharon Moore. I never did after he cried after the win against Penn State. I was told by a bunch of Michigan fans in here, actually just one, but I won't name any names, that Michigan was just going to be just fine because they're reloading on talent. I ain't seeing it. So I'm going to go ahead and just pass, but it has to be stated. Does this look like a lot of respect for Michigan to be a road favorite after they don't really deserve to be a road favorite given what they did against Washington? Steak, you like Michigan or you thinking about fading them?
I don't think that it's a lot of respect. I think Michigan could literally trot out a
You
pair.
don't think it's a lot of respect?
I think Michigan could start a paraplegic at quarterback and still be favored over Illinois, no matter where they play. That's just how much respect Michigan gets. They are not good. They're not good, and they don't have a competent quarterback, no matter who it is. And I don't know how you could back Michigan. Maybe I'm being square here by saying I think taking Illinois and the points is the right play, but I don't like Michigan at all. The quarterback situation is like the worst quarterback situation you'll ever see for a defending champ ever.
Yeah. All right. Good point. Total is at 43.5. Javon, any thoughts on Michigan?
Yeah, I'm taking Michigan. I like them in this game. I think the party's going to start to be over for Illinois, just period, because Luke Altmaier has been outperforming by quite a bit. I mean, they had the game they really had no business keeping close against Penn State on the road. Then they had the magical game last week where they should have lost probably 5 or 6 times and ended up winning in overtime because Purdue didn't get the 2-point conversion, which I love going for that. But I think now they have this game against Michigan. I think Michigan's too physical for them. They have a game against Oregon next week. I feel like the party's going to start to be over. I think it starts here.
Damn. Okay. Yeah, Steak, you didn't really talk too much on Illinois, but could you kind of lean into that narrative?
I don't love Illinois. I just think Michigan's really, really horrible.
Yeah, no, I agree with you totally. I was just curious if you have any thoughts on Illinois, maybe kind of coming back down to life too.
No, but I'll say this: I know that they were like 27-point favorites, but for the most part, they've overperformed expectations pretty much the entire year.
Yeah. They were in a dogfight with Penn State, I think, on the road too.
They beat Nebraska.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, beating Kansas doesn't really look like much.
But no, that's a big win for Illinois. That's a big win.
True. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Northern Illinois at home -3 against Toledo. Anybody have a thought on that game? I'm just going to keep rattling them off. Feel free. USF 13.5 at home against UAB. I mean, Javon, you have said it for a while. Trent Dilfer sucks. Fading UAB or staying off here?
Staying off, because this is, if there was any game to actually put your coin on Trent Dilfer, it's probably one against another very dead team. That would be now.
Also, Trent Dilfer, Bucks Super Bowl, not Super Bowl, sorry, that's Brad Johnson, but former Bucks quarterback playing in Raymond James.
Could be the difference.
Yeah, he'll finally get it going.
Steak, no thoughts on USF?
Absolutely not.
Okay. All right, let's keep moving here. Hawaii, Washington State. Washington State is -19. Cal at home against NC State. Cal -10. God, I feel so bad for NC State having to travel all the way across the country being this dog shit. I kind of think Cal fucking kills them. Total 46.5. Do we have any thoughts, gentlemen? Feel free to just spit them out.
It's a fat fucking spread. I'll say that. I'm not going to get to the counter with laying it with Cal just because, I mean, they're also getting the same amount of travel because they're in Pittsburgh. But
true.
That's a lot of points. That's probably a lot more points. If you would have told me that spread before the season started,
God.
I would have been stunned.
NC State 0-7 ATS for what it's worth.
Yeah, really bad.
But you're absolutely correct. We would not have believed that spread existed if we would have said that in August.
I don't see NC State's offense really coming to life here at Cal. I think I might go NC State team total under and get cute. Okay, Texas State Old Dominion. Don't think we have anything there. Charlotte at Navy. Navy look ahead to Notre Dame next week.
I buy that more than I buy Notre Dame looking ahead to Navy.
I would too. Navy. The only thing is Charlotte. I don't know anything about Charlotte this year. Charlotte's 3-3 ATS. Javon.
What's the
Charlotte's
spread in
weird.
this game?
Navy's minus 17.
Got it.
Charlotte's just weird because like you can't look at all their games equally because they've been missing half the team or more for probably about half the season, like half of their games. So I don't know. They've looked good recently though, somewhat good.
They just won. They beat ECU and they beat Rice, both as underdogs. 9.5 point and 4.5 point underdogs. Not bad. All right, we'll keep moving. Houston and Kansas. Kansas is minus 6.5. I know Houston stinks, but should Kansas be minus 6.5 to anybody? They're 0-6 ATS. Javon, good call on the Houston team total over. I feel like maybe you have a pretty good read on this team, or that was a better read on your team, TCU.
Yeah,
but
that was a TCU read. Don't give me credit for Houston.
Any thoughts on Kansas, Houston?
No, not betting Kansas a singular time this season.
Okay.
So I'm not betting Kansas either. So I want to get your guys' thoughts on this because after Houston wins outright against TCU, which for them is still a huge win. I know TCU's been disappointing, but big win for Houston. Should Kansas be minus 6.5 here?
No. I don't think they should be minus 6.5 to anybody.
And so I don't want to back Kansas either, but I'm kind of curious about how you guys felt about Houston team total under.
A little bit of a letdown?
That's what I lean in this game.
Oh, hold on. I love it. I'm going to tell you why. I mean, this is just a reoccurring theme. I like where your head's at. Letdown after the TCU win, then into a bye week. Houston's going to come up at Kansas offensively out of a bye week. No,
they're going to score. They're going to score less than 10 points.
Is that what the team total is?
This was like a true road game. I would be involved, but
okay.
It's not. Fair. It's not like the game's at Arrowhead. I don't know if I feel too comfortable leaning into that.
Okay, fair enough.
Is the game at Arrowhead?
That's where Kansas is playing on.
Yeah, that's where all their home games are.
Oh, it's where all their home games are. Okay. Nah, it does nothing for me. It doesn't talk me off it.
Yeah. I'm in.
Unless Pat Mahomes is playing, then I'll reconsider.
I'm in. All right, Alabama, Tennessee, probably one of the games of the weekend. I know we have Georgia and Texas coming up, but Bama minus 3 on the road against Tennessee. Tennessee, home dog. The home dogs just bit. Again, as I gave State credit for, he liked all three of them, and all three of them covered last weekend. Steak, we were talking about this earlier, but could we see it flip this weekend and the home dogs are not barking quite as loud? Mulene Bama here or what? Oh, sorry, real quick. Total 56.5.
I'd like to kick this one to Javon first.
Okay.
I've been standing on, I wouldn't say a complete island, but I've been getting a lot of shit for saying Nico is not that guy from the start of the season all the way up until I talked about it last week with Florida, and he looked god-awful. So I'd feel a little wrong if I took a step off that pedestal this week. So give me Bama.
Wow.
So my theory, and it backs, I like Alabama too. My theory is like donkey bettors are always a week behind because they fall in love too much with what they saw last week. And last week, a lot of people are saying LSU's not good enough to beat Ole Miss and Oregon's not good enough to beat Ohio State, but the spread looks a little weird and, whatever. Oregon wins outright, LSU wins outright. I think that people are going to go to Tennessee here. And I think it's a little bit for what we've seen again from Alabama the last 2 weeks, because I know Tennessee's looked bad the last 2 weeks, but a lot more people watched Alabama, Vanderbilt, Alabama, South Carolina. I feel like I didn't hear anyone. I mean, we were at a bar. Did anyone have eyes on that Florida-Tennessee game except me?
Motherfucker, I told you I like Florida all week.
You don't fucking count. I'm not talking about you. I'm saying anyone at that bar. It was on this little fucking screen up at the right. I had to ask the guy that worked there to put it on, and no one was watching it. You would agree with that, right?
Yes,
no one knew it went to overtime. Nothing.
I
just-
marched up and down the bar telling people that Graham Mertz was 11 for 15 with 2 touchdowns and 125 passing yards. But yes, you
Yeah.
are correct.
Well, rest in peace, Graham Mertz. He tore his ACL, but
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
sucks.
But that's not the point. Point
Okay.
is, I like Alabama. I think this may potentially be the week to go to the favorites, and I like Alabama more than I like Texas, which we'll talk about later.
Okay.
You know what, too? I very much believe in the football gods' karma the next week. And just like, I guess, like Cal didn't win the game, obviously. But after Miami got all the bullshit with Virginia Tech in that game, it was just kind of destined that some things weren't going to go their way the next game. The Florida Graham Mertz QB sneak fumble, which a lot of this is coaching fault, but it's QB sneak fumble, the penalty before the field goal at halftime. I mean, there are 15 different mistakes that were obscene that should have led to Florida winning that game and made it so the Vols didn't even have a chance in OT.
Lagway's first pass, once he got in, or not his first pass, but once Mertz got
Worst
hurt.
pass I've ever seen.
Dude, it was
straight out of the Jameis playbook.
It was insanity. It was insanity. I couldn't believe it.
Blitz, Bama, blitz. All right, don't give a shit about nothing but the Tide. I'm in. Sign me up for Bama. That might have to be an official newsletter play. I like it. All right, let's keep moving. Western Michigan, Buffalo, Ohio, Miami of Ohio. By the way, real quick, Cam is money. Thank you for that on the Saturday morning stream. Cam was like, I can't believe you guys aren't on Miami of Ohio. Thank you very much. They came through. Do you guys have any thoughts on either of those two games? Okay. Next one. I'm sure we probably have maybe some thoughts on this one. Texas Tech -6.5 against Baylor. Total 55.5. Does anybody have any? I don't know that I really want to get involved, but I kind of respect Texas Tech. But is this where they don't deliver after they keep winning and coming through at home? Could Baylor be sneaky here? Javon, we'll start with you.
I think so. Partially because Spavital, the OC for Baylor, who I like, one of the reasons I backed Cal last year. He's so familiar with like dicing these type of defenses. This is like the game that he lives for as an OC at Baylor against this defense. So I do really respect Texas Tech now because they've been absolutely fantastic. But a lot of that's been Taj Brooks, and this happens to be one of the better run defenses sneakily in the Big 12. So they're going to get in a shootout with them. And with the total kind of sinking, it's kind of telling you the opposite of that. So I feel like this is probably one of the toughest matchups for the Texas Tech run games that they've had all year, and probably one of the better ones for Baylor's offense. So I do think maybe it's a close win or whatever it is, but I do like Baylor.
Also talk about teams being hot and going into a bye week. I mean, Texas Tech was fucking rolling 30, 44, 28, beating, Arizona State, Cincy, and Arizona on the road. And then Baylor didn't cover a 12-point spread. They got their ass kicked at Iowa State before going into a bye week. So I kind of think Baylor might be a live dog here. Steak, any thoughts?
Yeah, and all those Texas Tech wins look even better now. Arizona State beat Utah. Who else did you say they beat? Texas Tech?
Cincy and Arizona.
Yeah, Cincy looks better. Arizona, whatever. You can say whatever you want about Arizona. But yeah, I liked Baylor. Didn't this line open at like 10?
I think that was the look ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. I don't know. I thought I saw Baylor plus 9.5 somewhere. But either way, I like Baylor too.
For what it's worth about Baylor too, you want to talk about a team that needed a bye week. They've had the Iowa State game, the BYU game, and the Colorado game, all where they had one incredible half and one horrendous half. So, I mean, that's coaching 101 of some shit you're trying to fix going into the bye week.
Yeah.
Good point. I think I like Baylor. Real quick before we keep moving, because Sassy Pants Steve keeps asking, what is a donkey better steak?
Oh, so like it's like the guy who sees Alvin Kamara have 6 touchdowns on Christmas, so then the next day he loads up on Alvin Kamara prop. The next week he loads up on Alvin Kamara props.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this just happened, so that's going to happen again. I'll just bet that now. Donkey. Okay.
Matt Girls is just being sassy though. He knows what it is.
Yep. USC. This travel schedule for USC is brutal.
It's fucking brutal.
Now they go to Maryland. 4:00 game, USC -7.5. Although I got to tell you, I don't really know that I want to fade USC here. Doesn't this seem too obvious? They just blew it on the road against Minnesota. Then they just blew it and lost heartbreak against Penn State. Now they got to go to Maryland and they're 7.5, and Maryland's coming off a loss. I don't want to fade USC here. I think this is a donkey bet. Donkey bet. Maryland. Steak, you're shaking your head. You disagree?
Not at all. Not at all.
You think people are laying 7.5 with USC on the road?
Yeah, absolutely. USC just played a great game against Penn State. They could have won. I think everybody saw that. No one came out of that Penn State game and thought anything but I would say positive things about USC. Maryland just lost outright to Northwestern as 11-point favorites. I don't think there's anything obvious about this. I like Maryland for sure.
You want a good nugget to Jen?
Yep.
Because it kind of directly aligns with that. I have two of my very close friends that are Maryland alum. The very first thing, Monday morning, I was texted, put your rent on USC this week. We are fucking terrible.
There it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, after that disaster, I don't even want to fade the travel aspect of it because, to be honest with you, I think I've mentioned this with you. Like the teams that are going west to east have been doing significantly better against the spread, but a lot of that's been when they're like big dogs. Like UCLA has done it a couple times. As favorites, it hasn't been quite as successful, but I will say, I think we talked about this too with USC. Like they're kind of getting into the Big Ten gauntlet, see if they're built for this. And now they get a little change of pace where they get a team that is maybe going to spread them out a little more, which should be what they're used to. But I mean, they just have been trying to take down physical defenses for 4 weeks in a row. I feel like that's a little not good change of pace.
Maryland's problem is also being too big of a favorite against teams like Michigan State and Northwestern. It would be so them to show up as a dog. Crutch is saying Terps money line. I agree with him, and I'm probably going to sprinkle it, but I hope he's wrong, obviously, because I have USC over 7.5 wins, but it's Maryland for sure.
Okay. General Mitchie Moss, how are you, fellow Delta traveler? Sorry I'm late, DJ. Will's down just now in Fayetteville, Arkansas. We'll check in on the Hogs today. Oh, that sounds fun. What's the Fayetteville airport like? Bet they have a good Auntie Anne's. All right, let's keep moving. Wyoming and San Jose State. Listen, the next time I want to bet on Wyoming, can you kick me in the fucking nutsack? All right. They kind of were hanging. I forget who did I bet them against? Who did they play last week? I bet them against somebody.
Who?
Wyoming.
Oh, yeah, they did. Oh, God, who was that against?
Who the fuck they play? Anyways, it doesn't matter.
San Diego State?
Yeah, San Diego State.
Yeah.
I just thought it was weird to see Wyoming favored against anybody. And I was like, ooh, let me be a little contrarian. Nope, they lost 27-24. Now they're on the road getting 11.5 at San Jose State. I don't know that you guys have any thoughts. Feel free. Nope. Okay. Colorado, Arizona. Interesting game here. Arizona minus 3.5. A little upset at myself not leaning into that Kansas State spot in Colorado. You kind of felt like things were getting just a little too good for Colorado. That was a good sell spot. Nobody was really super high on Kansas State for all justifiable reasons. Jake butchered me for hating this USC over wins bet. Oh, Hazen, never mind. Okay. Colorado.
I think fucking USC over wins is a great bet still.
Okay. Colorado minus 3.5. Or I'm sorry, Arizona minus 3.5 against Colorado. Do you think this could be a smash spot for Arizona coming off of a loss? Javon?
I think it could be. I'm so out on Arizona. So they have 2 players. Colorado's super banged up. So I mean, maybe it looks a little easy, but again, like if Fafita is not throwing the ball to McMillan, nobody else exists, and they look awful.
Arizona 1-5 ATS and is a 3.5-point favorite. Okay, everybody and their grandma going to be on Colorado. I kind of like Arizona. Steak, any thoughts?
I'm really hoping that it's Colorado. It's one game I could say I'll very aggressively be rooting for the Buffs. Obviously, I got my Arizona win total under, and I'm just not an Arizona guy. But I don't know. They just got dog walked by BYU. And honestly, Cam brings up a good point. And I feel like for the most part, I think people were impressed to some degree with Colorado's performance against Kansas State. Was that Avery Johnson's best game of the year? Not that anyone's shocked against the Colorado defense, but I just think that it took that much from Avery Johnson says a lot about Colorado. So, yeah, I just can't play this game at all.
I think that's fair. Okay, let's keep moving. It's 11:50. Do have to wrap it up here pretty soon. Again, Javon, thank you. Steak, thank you for making the time. Everybody, thanks for hanging out. I am Corp today. If you can't tell, not the normal setting. Voice has to be lower. I'm at the office so far. No weird eyes or weird looks and no shared screen. But every Tuesday so far, I've been going through the College Board here, and we're having a lot of success. So let's stay locked in and dialed. Okay, New Mexico and Utah State. James Madison, Georgia Southern.
Got to talk about everybody's going to bring it up, so just talk about it. New Mexico State, Utah State. Total. Look at the total.
New Mexico, not New Mexico State. New Mexico, Utah State, 78.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that since a fucking Oregon, I don't know, USC game a couple years ago with Caleb Williams. What do you think?
I literally don't even know if that game got to 78.
Yeah, true. I mean, I'm not
78 is insanity.
It's wild.
Insane.
That's all I got.
I'll be fading. I'll be fading. I do it sneakily every week.
You're going to go under?
Yeah. I mean, the Gen inspired. Anytime like I've brought it up, I just place a sneak unit on the most obvious, what I think is the most obvious under on the board every week, or always over on the board every week. And it's the highest total by far that we've seen all season.
Okay. I'm with you.
That's
I'm with
funny.
you.
You know what's funny? I love doing that in like hockey and the NBA. I never really do it in college football. Oh no, that's not true. We did it in fucking
We did it a lot.
yeah, we've done it a few times. What am I talking about? We did it Washington State and Texas Tech. That was a good one.
Yeah. Knock on wood. It's on like a solid 4 to 5 week streak. So
Love
we'll see
that.
if it holds up.
Look at that. Dave Martinez even remembers. Okay, let's go. Texas A&M 14.5 at Mississippi State. What a disrespectful line for Mississippi State at home. But God, they are fucking terrible. But they are 3-3 ATS. Steak, you got a weird look on your face like you have a thought in this game.
It's a disrespectful line for Texas A&M.
You think it should be higher?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Texas A&M just rolled Missouri. You got to say they're playing their best football. Mississippi State lost to the Gators, lost to Toledo. Like, they should be bigger underdogs in this game.
But hold on.
20.5.
Hold on.
Okay.
They covered 33-point spread at Georgia. They lost by 10.
Everybody covers against Georgia.
Okay, then they lost. They covered a 37-point spread against Texas. They lost by 22. How many points can you give them at home?
I'm not 20.5.
That's crazy. No, I disagree.
I'd say more.
You guys both think that this line is too short?
I mean, yeah. I would say there's not a 20-point difference even with home field between Texas A&M and Georgia and Texas.
Thank you. That's exactly what I'm saying. Thank you.
Plus 15.5s. That's like the magic number for the ML, which is what Florida.
Let's play the game. What is Texas A&M at Texas if they play on Saturday?
I wonder if they have a line out for that. They might honestly have a look ahead line out for that.
6.5. Texas 6.5.
If that's what you think the line is, then you agree the line's much too short.
Right now, the look ahead is Texas minus 9.5 in Texas A&M.
I was way off on that. Maybe I'm giving Texas A&M too much respect. Maybe
or not enough.
Or not enough. Well, right.
Not enough.
Not enough. Right. Yes. I'm not doing anything with this game. I'll tell you that because my brain.
I'm taking Mississippi State.
Yeah,
take the line.
I'm a big time Texas A&M slurper this year, but this game I think is going to be close, especially because Texas A&M has next week too. They have one of their 4 big home games of the year, and LSU is coming into town next week. Potentially awful loss.
I do like that. I like the look ahead aspect, but also for Mississippi State, this is a brutal stretch.
Oh, it's insane.
Texas, Georgia, stretch. Texas A&M. Jesus Christ. Okay, LSU, Arkansas. LSU minus 2.5 at Arkansas. Our guy Greg at last weekend bet LSU to win the championship before the game, 65 to 1 or something. Now they're down to like 40. Not saying it's going to happen, but it is wide open, it seems, this year. So if you want to take a fun long shot, I got nothing against it. But man, I just don't think LSU looked good or deserved to win that game. It would be really, really, it's going to be hard for me not to fade them here. But I don't know. Arkansas is also 5-1 ATS. Like, they're a little scrappy. I know people like the quarterback, and LSU going on the road when they've been on the road has not looked very good. Total 55.5. Steak, you had a good read on LSU last week. Congratulations on that cash. I think you had the money line too. What would you advise doing with them here?
Probably fading LSU.
Yeah.
I think the get cute spots with dogs are Tennessee, and I don't know if you can call Georgia get cute, but I think there'll be enough people on Georgia. I don't think people are going to, when you got those 2 other SEC matchups cooking, I don't think that too many people are going to get cute with Arkansas. And that LSU win was emotional. That's a pretty crazy game that, like, a lot of people would agree that they should have lost. And I could see them putting up a stinker in Fayetteville, and General Mitchie Moss is going to be there. Congrats, General Mitchie Moss.
Javon, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. This is like a crazy 3 weeks. They go and they beat Ole Miss at home. Maybe they drop one to Arkansas here, and then God knows what's going to happen in Texas A&M, which is always a crazy game between the 2 of them. So I really don't care for Arkansas, but in this game, I might get involved.
Okay.
Did you say the Texas A&M game is in College Station?
Yeah,
no, in Mississippi State.
No, I'm sorry. Against LSU.
Yeah. Every big Texas A&M game this year is there.
Wow.
I respectfully think this party might come crashing down for LSU. That's my thoughts.
Yeah. I sadly do too. I mean, I just really wasn't that impressed against Ole Miss, but I got to give them credit. I mean, they beat a good team. So, okay, fair enough. I'm not going to touch that game. Arkansas State on the road against USM. Southern Miss -7, total 55. Ball State at Vandy. Vandy -25.5. Any thoughts on either of those? I'm just going to keep moving.
Was Southern Miss favored? Is that what you said? -7?
No.
Sorry, no. Arkansas State is
+7. Good. Yeah, no, I'm good on that.
okay. UCF +14 at Iowa State. I don't have any thoughts in this game other than I just love to be on this Iowa State win total right now. Thank you, Javon. Again, knock on wood. But they're looking great. Iowa State is with Rocco Becht. I love Rocco Becht. Love Anthony Becht. Total 48.5. Steak, you made a weird facial expression. Do you have any thoughts on this?
I'm just fucking losing coin every week on UCF. I'm not going to bet this game. I hope they get shit stomped. I hope they lose by 35.
Okay. Javon, any thoughts?
Yeah, not in Iowa State. I don't know if there's really like a time that I'm going to do it in the next couple weeks because their schedule. I don't know if you've taken a look. Like they have Texas Tech next week or next game after a bye week, but that's in Ames. Like other than that, schedule's pretty light for a minute.
Could be a little sleepy spot here against UCF, maybe getting into a bye week and then having that game on the mind. Okay. North Texas against Memphis. Memphis -10. Don't have any thoughts on that one. And then we've got the probably the game of the night. No, it is the game of the night. Georgia and Texas. Texas is -3.5 at home against Georgia. Well, Georgia hasn't really been covering spreads. We know they lost to Alabama. They did come back and make it a game. They didn't blow out Mississippi State. Texas, on the other hand, just really isn't skipping a beat for the most part. Do you think getting the hook there with Georgia is bait? Because initially I did think that, but also at the end of the day, does anybody want to fade Texas right now? I don't know. They just look so fucking good. Javon, we'll start with you on this one.
Oh, I'll tell you what I kind of think about Georgia because Clemson like really hasn't looked back after the Georgia game, coincidentally, where their offense was dog shit. And maybe that was a lot more Georgia good defense at the time and the fact that it was the first game. But regardless, like they had their shit time moment. And their offense has been great since then. I feel like Georgia also had that because like from the Kentucky game and I guess the first half of the Alabama game, since then, I mean, the offense has been putting up numbers. And even though they're not covering massive fucking spreads, the offense, if you actually watched it with your own two eyes, has been pretty fantastic. And Texas has yet to face an offense ranked in the top half of college football this year. So I do think this is at the very least where you're going to get points. So I like the over. And every big game seems to have gone over so far this season. I think Georgia, regardless of what Texas does, is going to have a pretty good offensive game.
Steak?
So I think it's favorites day. That's what I said going into this. I do lean Texas. But I'll share a fan perspective. Obviously, our boy Charlie is a Falcons and Georgia fan. He texted me Monday morning and said, Texas is going to light our secondary up.
So Georgia fans are not confident.
I don't think they're confident. I think they're a little scared of Texas, to be honest. But I think it's Texas, personally.
Okay, fair enough. I can get down with the points. I can see Carson Beck and the Georgia offense having a good game. Okay. Kansas State on the road against West Virginia should be a pretty good game. Kansas State -3, total 54.5. Gentlemen, you got any thoughts on that? No? Okay.
Stand away from,
Iowa -6 on the road against Michigan State. Dare I say that line looks a little short? I kind of like Michigan State there. Total 41. I'm not really that high on Iowa. I love what they did and took care of business against Washington. But that first half of that game, I thought Washington was going to come back and win. Kentucky on the road in Florida. Gators getting points again in the swamp. Common theme this year. They came through against UCF, but UCF looks like they might be dog shit. Took Tennessee to overtime. This is a tough spot for the Gators. Now you got Kentucky up. Do you think anybody think this is a smash spot for Kentucky? Steak?
You first, Javon. I'm a Gators fan.
I kind of like this nasty over after
42
Kentucky
and a half.
Yeah, 42.5. I mean, Kentucky, it's always pulling teeth, getting them to score points, and the Gators are missing QB1, and I believe Montrell Johnson is still going to be out too. Just correct me if I'm wrong, Steak. So QB1 and RB1, and this is Lagway's I guess, team now for the rest of the season. Thankfully, he gets to start in the Swamp. Granted, against a pretty tough defense. I don't know. These games are always weird between Kentucky and Florida. So I feel like I want to lean into that, just like I leaned into, I don't know, Billy always coaching, playing well against Tennessee for whatever reason. And I want to lean into points. So I feel like the offenses are going to be a lot better than expected, just looking at the game on paper.
I actually really like that read. Gators fans are excited about DJ Lagway, but I don't think they're excited after what they saw last week when he came in for Graham Mertz. The over's gross for sure. Kentucky has been more competitive in this rivalry than Tennessee has in the last 20 years. Kentucky beats Florida recently. I don't know. I don't know that I could take a side, but I like your overlook a lot.
Okay. Kind of into that as well. Colorado State 7 at Air Force, SMU 17 at Stanford. Any thoughts on those two weird matchups? I don't really have anything. Nope.
No.
Okay.
I'm bad at Stanford games.
Two more games. UNLV at Oregon State. UNLV is -7. Looks like a lot of respect there, but Oregon State's 2-4 ATS. And TCU on the road against Utah. I'm so fucking sick and tired of Utah. This Cam Rising bullshit. I think I'm like so out. I love Kyle Whittingham. I'm so out on everything Utah right now.
Is TCU Utah like 10-15 or something?
It is 10:30 p.m.
Okay, got it. So sorry, what was the game before that? It was
UNLV.
UNLV roll has, with the exception of the stinker against Syracuse, UNLV has been rolling. I don't know if that line's weird at all.
But they didn't cover. They didn't cover 19 at Utah State, and they lost outright at home against Syracuse. So could be a little bit of a bounce back there.
How much did they score in that Utah State game?
50.
How the fuck is the over 78.5 in that other game, dude?
I don't know.
Utah State's defense is terrible.
But they scored 50. UNLV scored 50 themselves?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, God, I thought you meant the game.
No. There was 84 points combined. Tough spot for UNLV. Yep, I could see it. I think that's weird. Go ahead.
I think UNLV blows their chance. I think they lose outright.
Oh shit! This is your dog.
Yeah, you know what game's on the docket next week for UNLV? Potential. I guess this would be for Group of 5 leader in the playoff race. They played Boise State in Vegas. So
that's next week.
Game. Holy
next
shit.
week.
This is the look ahead spot. Great. That's it. Done.
Yeah.
Oregon State.
Wow, that's a sick game, dude.
Done. I'm so glad you said that. Great job. It's got to be Oregon State.
Has to.
Boise State. And not to mention, UNLV is a dome team playing in Vegas. You're going to get them out there at night in Oregon State. I don't care. Oregon State sucks. Weird things happen. And you have that look ahead matchup. Give it to me. Oregon State. It's got to be. Steak, you don't seem to love it as much as I do. I can't shut up.
No, I mean, Javon likes it too. I fucking got it, tail. I do like UNLV a lot, and I was excited about the quarterback change. So, like, fading them will be hard for me, but I certainly see your guys' point.
2 porta potty Royal Throne trailers in baggage claim. That is incredible. What kind of plane did you fly in there, by the way? A Winglets 175? Anyways, TCU, Utah, last game on the board. Then we're going to shut it down, gentlemen. It's 12:05. Thank you again very much for doing this. It's awesome as always. Total 49. Someone said, how about a disgusting late night over in Utah? That is kind of a high total. Kind of a high total. Javon, TCU alum, what do you think?
So I'll be honest. I mean, I have no idea what to expect in this game with the whole Isaac Wilson, Cam Rising situation rising after the year. So you would think that their offense, honestly, like couldn't look any worse than it did with Rising because he couldn't throw a football. And you got TCU coming off a really weirdly placed bye going into Utah. I can't do it. I can't do it with anything in this game. Like everything in my head, not my heart, my head wants to tell me that it's TCU plus the points and they're going to come out looking fired up. But yeah, something you probably won't like if you're backing TCU. You know what Sonny Dykes said over the bye week? He said they spent the entire bye week working on fundamentals because that's something we lacked on for this entirety of the season so far. Fundamentals. That's not giving me any confidence at all.
No. That reminds me of like Charlie Weiss era when they were terrible and they did the same thing. And I was watching the practice videos on Irish Illustrated and they were like doing drills where you would recover a fumble.
Yeah. That's bad.
That's not good.
Still not as bad as spraying each other with water guns to simulate rain.
Okay, fair enough. So you can't get there anything TCU related. I'm okay with that. I respect that. Steak, any thoughts on this?
I think Utah's cooked.
Really?
Yeah, I think
See,
Utah's
I
cooked.
agree. But
Cam
it doesn't
Rising.
make you like the over then.
The only way I would be able to buy back in on Utah, and you guys call me as insane as you want, I think they should put fucking Isaac Wilson back in and start him for the rest of the year. I think they'd have better luck doing that.
They are.
They are.
Oh, he's starting this game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I didn't know that. No, I don't.
Rising's like officially out for the year.
He's done.
Oh, I didn't know that. Damn. I missed the boat then. No, I can't take TCU.
I commented on one Cam Rising tweet, so now I my algorithm on Twitter, I see every Cam Rising tweet. So yeah, you probably don't do that, and that's okay. But I saw Cam Rising is out for the rest of the year, and Isaac Wilson's back in.
I made a tweet about taking Cam Rising out behind the barn and shooting him, and somebody sent me a DM and said that it wasn't very nice. It was very respectful DM. They were like, Cam Rising's a good guy. That wasn't very nice.
I'm sure he is, but in all seriousness, I don't care how good of a guy you are. The back and forth of playing and not playing, playing and not playing. I don't know if it's his fault, but because he's involved, I hate it, and I'm just sick of it. And
I can't do 8-year red shirts. I don't think that should exist. I really don't.
No, making Adrian Martinez look like fucking he was barely in college. All right. Okay. Gentlemen, we went over the entire college week 8, is it? Week 8 slate.
Yep.
Javon, you'll be on Behind the Lines today, 12:30.
Yep.
Awesome. Look forward to tuning in as always. And I'm sure most of the chat will be there as well. Thank you very much for coming on. We really appreciate it. Again, I mean, for the most part, college football reads have been locked in. So tail at your own discretion, but we've got some good takeaways, and I'm going to shut it down, but there's not much on the NHL board. So I don't think we're missing too much, but we'll lean on Behind the Lines for that. So Javon, thank you very much. We'll see you at 12:30. Steak, as always, appreciate you making the time and coming through every Wednesday. I'll chat with you later tonight because we are having an emergency DGen meeting to talk about NFL behind closed doors, me, Greg, and Steak, but we're going to record it and put it on a podcast.
Javon, we're gonna discuss fundamentals.
Wow. I was about to say I might be auto tailing all the plays of the week from you guys, but after hearing that statement, I don't know if I can.
We're so due, dude. We're so due.
Players only meeting.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll put that out for you guys a little bit later. All right, man. Javon, thank you. Steak.
See you, boys.
Have a great rest of your day. And guys in the chat, guys and girls in the chat, thank you as always for hanging out. Again, I'm Corp in the office here. I don't think my voice got too loud. I don't think I said anything stupid. So maybe I'm not fired. I will tuck the chain back in because I got to go back out there and be somewhat professional. But okay. No hockey or MLB. No, I can't. I don't have the time for it. Maybe I'll do a little space later. We'll talk some bullshit. I would like to stay in my fucking bag on Underdog. All right, because I'm gonna make the Underdog my bitch. I'm good. Underdog. If you're watching, you think I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. $750 in the account balance, down to 70. Chips all in the table. Now I'm back up. What's my account balance right now? Actually, I'll tell you. I think I got it over 800. And this is not a brag, by the way. I can lose all this shit tomorrow. I'm just saying it feels fucking good. 854. 750, down to 70, 854. Fucking hot. I got to tell you, see, people always say, DJ, you're a meme capper. DJ, you don't care about winning bets. Do you see how fucking fired up I am to win these fucking? But let me tell you right now, I'm a 2 or 3 leg guy. That's it. I'm not a 5 or 6. No more 5 and 6. It's fun. Yep, literally just saying that. Yep, I'm 2 or 3. That's it. 2 and 3. No 4, no 5. Nope, they don't hit. It's stupid. I mean, come on. We're parlaying player props. Like I'm not an idiot. You know, I've been doing this for a while. I know they're stupid, but I am stupid. So, anyways, Nealon, definitely want to thank you for the Kraken over yesterday. You're welcome. I didn't score any goals, so you don't have to thank me too much. But let me just tell you, as a Kraken investor, I have their over point total. I think their offense is going to be something to watch all season. I really do. So coming off of a shutout, that was a tough game, back-to-back game, shootout win in Dallas. After a shutout in Nashville, I like them to get right. So I will be keeping an eye on the Kraken team total over and just game over because I don't really trust their goaltending either all season. All right, I'm going to shut it down. Listen, I'll take a look if there's anything. Get in the Discord, by the way. If you're not in the Discord, please feel free to share your player props in there. I'm going to try to get in the bag, my bag, get in the bag for player props in the NHL all fucking season. All right, all fucking season. All right, guys, I'm going to shut it down. Have a great day. Good luck on all your bets. I will chat with you later. Peace.